All right, we're at Media Row, presented by Toyota, joined by Christian McCaffrey, 49ers star running back. And where the heck are we right now?
We are at the Sleep Number corner right now. Fantastic setting, fantastic beds. Pumped to be here.
Christian, my wife always gives me a lot of grief. She says I nap too much. I want to nap too much. How important is a good night's sleep and napping?
It's the most important thing. I'm a huge napper as well, but Sleep Number makes it easy. You can tailor your bed however you want it. The firmness, the softness, the shape of the bed, heating, cooling, whatever you need to create your best night's sleep or nap, they do it, make it easy on us.
Man, so many touches this season for you. How do you feel coming out of a season, a 19-game season?
I feel good, man. I feel really good. Each season has different challenges, but came out healthy and excited to continue to help try to build the base for next year.
And so on this day, we find out early in the morning you won the Salute to Service Award. What does that mean to you?
It's an incredible honor, man. That's something I'm extremely proud of. There's so much work to do, and it's nonstop, which is so exciting because there's so many veterans and servicemen and women who need our help. It's a brutal job. It's the biggest sacrifice in the world. It's not just the veterans, not just the active duty military who are sacrificing, but it's their families. It's their wives, their kids, whoever it may be. And so to be able to assist in helping them out means a lot to me. It's a job I don't take lightly, and I'm excited for all the work we're going to continue to do.
Yeah, what is it about that sacrifice that the men and women in uniform, that sacrifice that they make? What resonates with you when it comes to that?
Well, I think, I play a game for a living. I love football, but at the end of the day, we're playing in front of millions of people. We're, playing a kid's game and getting paid a bunch of money. And a lot of the reason is because of those men and women who are fighting for us. They don't get credit. Nobody knows their names. And they're doing it selflessly. They're doing it together. And a lot of times doing it with not knowing how it's going to turn out. And that is life or death. And so and it's not only that, it's all the unseen wounds that come with serving in the military. I think I started my work with the troops when I found out that 22 veterans commit suicide a day. And that's a harsh, dark reality that's not fun to talk about, but that is the reality. And, the more we can chop that number down and help these people out, the better everything will be.
Yeah, I mean, you play the game of football, and there's so much talk, about the camaraderie, the chemistry in the locker room. I'm sure you hear from veterans just how important that brotherhood, that sisterhood is among the men and women in uniform.
Yeah, it's spot on. I think they're in life or death situations, so you need to count on your brother or sister next to you more than anything. It's all about teamwork. It's all about communication and trust. And obviously we get another play. They might not get another play, and so it's so inspiring to learn from these people, to take notes and kind of pick their brains on exactly how they operate, because it is at the highest level.
When I look at that season you guys just had, it seemed like it could have gone downhill in a hurry if it weren't for the leadership. I mean, all the stuff that happened, the adversity you guys faced, how did you guys keep it together and win 13 games in the regular season and then another game in the postseason?
And I think, it's a testament to the coaches, to the kind of people that, Jed, John, and Kyle have brought in here over the past 9 years, and, great leadership on the team. I really think it was just a season where everybody had genuine love for each other, genuine love for football. And no matter what happened, we came to work every day with the right mentality of getting better, and then see what happens on Sunday. And then, you look back on the season, it's like, yeah, we win. You win a bunch of games, win a playoff game, and have an opportunity to make a run. And man, nobody thought we could do that this year. And obviously, we want to be here. We're bitter about it. We want, that was our goal. But I have a lot of gratitude for the guys I went to battle with this year.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously a team captain, a leader. How do you go about leading? What would you say your leadership style is?
I think the best part about this team and the 49ers in general, which has been true since I got here, is you just have to be yourself. For me, it's show up every day and work my butt off. I don't think Kyle doesn't ask anybody to speak. It's, there's really nothing to say. It's you go out there and you play loud. What's your standard of effort and practice in the training room, in the film room? How do you prepare? And if you're a rookie, guys just watch. They watch guys like Fred, like Bosa, like Kittle. They watch guys like they watch them work. And when you see it every day and you're in the first day of training camp, you're like, okay, I guess this is how we practice. It's kind of get in or get out, and there's nothing really to say other than that. That's what makes the team fun.
But when you finish the season and you start looking ahead to next year, do you ever does it creep into your mind, or do you ever express your views on what the team needs for the next season to take the next step?
Not really, man. I mean, these guys are the best in the world at what they do, and so for me, I try to show up and be able to do my job at the highest level. And that's what they're relying on me to do, is be ready to, carry the ball, catch the ball, whatever it may be. And that's an all-year process, so that's really what I focus on.
There's certainly changes every season. There's already been one change. Robert Saleh becoming head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Raheem Morris stepping in as defensive coordinator. I wanted to get your perspective, because you've gone up against Raheem Morris as a defensive coordinator with the Falcons, or head coach of the Falcons. What are the staples of a Raheem Morris defense?
Well, they play hard, I can tell you that, which is, obviously, to me, going against defenses that play hard are always tough. But, the scheme over the years has stood the test of time. And, it's funny, I got to train with Bijan this summer a little bit, so he was super familiar. I'm just saying his praises left and right. And so I have a lot of respect for Bijan, and if somebody like that respects Raheem, it's just a great addition. I know Kyle and him have history together as well, and a lot of guys know him. So I'm excited to get to know him and pumped he's on our team.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when you look at where this team is going, where it's been. What's the next thing for you? Do you look at the offseason as a chance to kind of hone one thing in particular to get better at? Do you have a focus of what you want to improve, or how do you approach an offseason?
There's never one thing. I think I always prided myself on being a complete back, and so, if that's something I care about, that means you work on everything. You want to get bigger, stronger, faster, quicker. You want to be able to run every route in the route tree and more. And so that takes, there's only so much time in an off season, and I think you have all off season to work on those things. You really don't. And so that's why you have to be very diligent with your time and your training, and when to start, when to peak, all these things. And so it's a constant challenge that's really fun, because the decisions you make in February and March are a lot of times what help you out in the Novembers and Decembers.
One of the neat moments of the season was before one of those games later in the year. Roger Craig was in attendance, and you went out of your way to go over, give him a hug. What would it be like if on Thursday night at NFL Honors, Roger Craig hears his name called as Pro Football Hall of Fame Class of 2026?
Well, it would be extremely deserving. I think when I think about Roger Craig, I think about a pioneer. I think, when you look at where the league is, he was the first guy to go 1,000, and then you look at the what came after him. Football is it'll always change. It'll always numbers will always be surpassed and records will be broken. But I think about him as a pioneer and someone who set the standard for guys like myself to come in here and maybe not be a 245-pound back, but to be able to make a living playing football because of a lot of the work that he put in, and being able to do everything, run the ball hard between the tackles, outside the tackles, catch the ball. So I have a lot of gratitude for him, and I think he's absolutely deserving of having a gold jacket as somebody who changed the game.
Absolutely. Long overdue.